Child Anant drifted through the northern regions on his way to pay his respects to the spirit of Hekla, the ice mountain. A few lost souls were wandering about, trying to sort out the meaning of their sudden and unexpected demise. Some were pulled to their wives, husbands, lovers, friends, and children. Some to their properties, some to their work, some to their pets. No one was free to fly back to the source. All of their etheric bodies were bound in light or heavy karmic chains. He watched them struggle, then drift away in the direction of their unfulfilled family duties or other social and financial obligations. He could feel the presence of the spirit of fire, who had reached earlier. The child with light floated gently to the edge of the crater of that extraordinary mountain, Hekla. The spirit of the ice mountain filled the sky behind the cone. Others would see only some amazing shaped clouds, but Child Anant wondered at this powerful presence. "Greetings, my good brother," said Child Anant. "I bring you greetings from the Ancient One. He received your response of readiness and thanks you." The spirit of Hekla rumbled a little and called upon the elves to receive Child Anant in a fitting manner. A sudden sunray revealed the entrance to the elves' cave, and Child Anant let himself in for an enjoyable afternoon, drinking Icelandic moss tea with the little people. They had taken everything of any value from the plane crash site, including some mysterious items which they presented to him, to be given to the abbot. It was new technology that they did not recognize. The mountain was ready to move, and the 130 other volcanoes in the area would cooperate as needed. The spirit of fire was their beloved mentor, and he wanted to dance. Some of the wandering souls from the plane crash became acutely aware of the impending cataclysm and wanted to warn their relatives, friends, and colleagues. But it was so hard to make contact, so hard to cross over to the world of people. "But why are you concerned about this?" came the voice of the great spirit of the universe from beyond. "Can you not realize that death is impossible? You are spirits, whether you are in the land of the embodied or whether you are floating in the atmosphere. You are imperishable light forms. You will always be aware. Just go and check for a while and see how the embodied ones can feel your presence, can experience your thoughts and feelings. You should have no problem communicating with them. Go and see, and come and tell me your findings." Some flew to Reykjavik, their intended destination. They saw morgues full of bodies, preparations for funerals, their friends and relatives distressed and mournful, sometimes angry or bitter. They tried to touch them, to tell them, "No, don't worry, we are fine, we are here. Don't be upset, we will always be here. Do not be distressed," said one spirit. The spirit of the wind watched this scene. The spirits of the wind and the water had presided over this incident. It was destined. The wind spirit spoke. "You can't fight destiny. You have to understand it properly. It is bigger than the small ideas of the embodied. But the great spirit of the universe clarifies everything. Nothing and no one can ever get lost. Each scene comes, persists for a while, and then it goes. This is the way of the universe. It has always been so. But they have all forgotten these important laws." They could hear the sound of the leviathans, who by now were moving in the Arctic waters. Their hum and chorus was looping through the northern oceans, and the ice began to resonate with that sound. The hard and frozen rock below caught the resonance and echoed its own bass notes. The magnetic pole amplified the sound and transposed the vibration onto the magnetic fields that projected into the ether. The spirit of the ether responded, "Yes, I am involved now. I carry the resonance far into the distant reaches of the cosmos." The Ancient One watched these scenes and projected his accumulated light, which circled the earth, adding sweetness to the already vibrant perfume of healing sound. The stag reminded him, "It's time to return to Akureyri. The next shift of doctors will be arriving and might just get a surprise to see how well their patient is doing. We need to move fast. Let's go." Von Plettenberg nestled back into his tranquilly sleeping body, and the nurse began to fuss around him. She removed the drip stand and all the equipment connected with his injection, disregarding the fallen needle. She checked the monitor and saw that he was doing quite well. She smiled and looked at him rather lovingly, as if he reminded her of her favorite grandfather. Dr. Behrens marched in, followed by 2 assistants and 1 man from security. "How is the patient?" "Very well, doctor." "Is he now? Is that so? No problems in the intervening period, eh? Did he complete the course of antibiotics?" "Oh yes, everything seems to be in order and working well." "Thank you very much, nurse. You can leave us now with the professor. Good evening." "But doctor..." Suddenly, an alarm went off. An orderly rushed in. "Dr. Behrens, you are needed immediately. The governor of the hospital is expecting you in his office immediately. Excuse me, sir, for this intrusion, but it's very important. There has been an incident." Dr. Behrens walked deliberately behind the orderly, accompanied by his assistants and the man from security. The alarm continued to wail, and medical staff were rushing to their stations. There had been a terrorist incident, and the wounded were beginning to come in. Professor von Plettenberg deftly got into his normal clothes, having extricated himself from the wires and tubes that threatened to engulf his freedom of movement. He joined the general fast-paced rushing towards the exits and disappeared into the town. It seemed very odd for there to be any kind of incident in Akureyri, let alone terrorists. Nothing ever happened here of all places. More likely some crazy guy had been on the wrong psychotropic drugs and started shooting people indiscriminately in a restaurant. He followed the stag down several streets, and they came to a safe house. Vikingur welcomed the professor. "Come in, please do. My wife has tea and cakes ready for you. Please sit down and be comfortable." "No, dear Vikingur, I need to go very fast. They will be on my tail in no time. Take me to your laboratory." Vikingur lifted a skin hanging on the wall, and they entered an extraordinary science fiction-like space station. Von Plettenberg entered the airlock, and a heavy door closed behind him. Soon he was on his way to the sister station. It was a straight and simple atmospheric high-speed wormhole that ran south through Britain, France, right through Africa by 3 time zones, sliding into Sutherland's magnificent station in 15 minutes. Sutherland Observatory was situated in the Karoo, Northern Cape, South Africa, facing directly to the center of our galaxy.